Good morning and welcome to Thursday. It is Delenn Russell coming to you. It's a pretty chill day, so we're just going to hang out on the Dadcraft 73 server. Pardon me. And we will see what we can get done. So today's major project is, first off, I was actually cleaning up my chest mess because I had a big mess out front. And if I can figure out where I put it again, I will try and dig out my gold, and we will actually try and build a bell for the church. So, what better way to kick that part off than to just jump in? We got ourselves 45 blocks. Hopefully that will be enough. If it's not, well, we'll have to figure out what we're going to do after that point. But, oops, I'm not going to need chests in there. Throw chests in here. What this? Dirt, that's what I was up to. Dirt. And more dirt. Good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. How are you this
hello
morning?
there!
Dirt, grass, and bricks. Okay, this. Dirt. So I was trying to clean up my dirt mess that I had going outside. And then we're going to jump on to building a bell. So we got the chandelier done. Now it's spruce. It's the only one in here. It's spruce. Everything else is the dark oak wood, but I thought that actually sort of helped blend a little bit more as you head upwards. I still haven't moved over the lighting because I'm still debating whether or not I should bother. It's gonna bug me if I don't. On the other hand, the lighting works well this way, so we might just leave it. Oh, I know. I just walked right past it. Spruce always feels like a good strong wood. Hypothetically, I mean, oak is great, but we don't have like a yeah, I don't really need to go dark. So we're gonna go spruce. I'm just gonna like fake it as we go. I'm not particularly sure what pieces I'm going to need. So it might look good, it might look janky. I have no particular idea. I don't know if I'm gonna need any of those. Fairly certain I will not need trapdoors. Alright. There's that, but one thing I will for certain need is scaffolding. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't have any around here, so I have to figure out where I put my string, and we can make ourselves some. Yes. Nope, not in there. Didn't I put the string in here? It's not. Why can I not find... There's some string. Pardon me. Alright. So I had myself a little minor chuckle last night. Just wanted to share it because I thought it was fun. But I came in late last night from a musical that I wanted to see with my mom and enjoyed myself. But unrelated to that... Oh, I guess I still have more dirt. Okay. Unrelated to that, I had a comment on my YouTube this morning that I came to that said... on Tuesday, they were laughing because they said, on Tuesday, I streamed to nobody, bro. And I'm like, really? And that's the way the stream started out when I did my bingo on Tuesday. But that's not how the whole thing went. So, I just had fun responding to them. You know, love little trolls. And just generically pointed out that may have been the case when I started, but was not the case when I finished. And we actually had an average of 7, which for me is a big number. I mean, it's not for, most normal streamers. There's no way. But, oh, fiddle. Whatever. Yeah. The system's a little full, can you tell? So anyway, I just had fun pointing that out and then saying, so being as you were very wrong, then I'm just getting a laugh at your expense in exchange. Which is kind of cheesy, but at 12:30 in the morning it felt good. So yeah, that's my story. And but it was kind of amusing. I didn't bother telling the guy they should like and subscribe because I just felt that was sort of, I don't know. It just felt cheap to bother saying that. While it's true, and I also didn't bother thanking them for spending the time to bothered to watch enough of the video to know I was not streaming to anybody. Because I figured, you know, it's obvious enough. You don't need to make a total fool. But anyway, one should not fall to trolls. But I just thought that was kind of funny because had they paid any attention whatsoever, they also would have noticed that the very first evidence that I wasn't streaming to nobody, at least at some point in the stream, was that the thumbnail wasn't neat. It just so happened on the YouTube version of the video that Benson's head happened to have popped up as part of the welcome system, but it popped up right over top of mine in such a way that looked neat. And when that was one of the auto-suggested thumbnails from YouTube, I just went with it because I thought that was kind of funny. And so yeah, when the guy said that, I was like, or I'm assuming it was a guy. It could have been a unicorn for all I know or care. But the point was still that the person was being a dip. Twitch doesn't like me, and Twitch, some people say Twitch can be twitchy. I suspect it could also be the fact that I changed my stream title multiple hours before I went live rather than doing it now. Because the stream title is showing as being the correct one. More Minecraft this and that. And I changed that at like 1 in the morning or something, so I don't know. Which is just a pain. On the other hand, I also don't know that if you're sitting on the channel itself, whether or not it recognizes you're a viewer. And then just decides not to give you a notification. That doesn't seem likely, because usually I've had both. Oops, I need at least some of those. So I figured that I'm just going to wing it and see how this goes. I don't really know what it's going to look like, nor do I really particularly care, because it's way up in the ceiling. So it's not, not criminal if I don't actually get something that looks great, because most of the time people aren't going to be seeing it from that distance. Oh, come on. Please stick one on. No. One on this side. Okay, fine. Be that way. Well, it's a good reason I brought a lot of planks. Ow. Normally I like scaffolding, but because you can't squat on it, sometimes building out to the side is just not happening. I'm sure there's a trick to it. At one point I used to know it, but at the moment I just can't think of it. If I was to go like this, it should work, but it just didn't seem to earlier on. So, yeah. I have absolutely zero idea how I'm going to make it look like it's ringable. I did not yet bring the other piece I needed for it. So we're going to put just a chain with a flapper inside being another bell. There. Like one of the town bells, just because I can, rather than any need to. Okay, that. I'm gonna pretend that I need to double or triple this up just because it's a big bell. Actually, not that direction though. I want it vertically, I think. Sometimes in Minecraft, I can't always see where the edges of the blocks go. Which is weird because I think it's just because it's dark up here. There we go. Down without falling off. I did get the on-screen chat working again. I don't believe I've got Butter, whatever his name is, Butter Oswin filtered out. I think just because on occasion I do need to know what he's saying. Most of the time I don't. On occasion I do. Okay, so I think bell top, what it usually would. Well, as I said, I can make this up, right? Let's take that one off. And with that, Around the goal. I think visually, I know what a bell shape looks like. That's the top bit about how it would hang. For it to be mobile is sort of like where I'm coming with this. I think what this bell is about that. This one. That one. Take this piece out. Pardon me. Put one of those in. Open it, maybe? Yeah, that's okay. Center. 1, 2. Center. 1, 2. That's not gonna work. We need to do fence first and pull it out. Center. 1, 2. There we go. Makes it easier for me to just grab the edges. There. I can pull this out. Okay, let's see what we can do. How about... One, 2, and 3. Come on. I just realized I want to get past that. I don't want to lose that piece all the way down to the floor. That's just a big pain. The other way. No, that'll work. And just put it over here. And then on this side. I know I just did the which we call scaffold in the opposite direction a couple minutes ago, but oh well. There we go. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the edge here. Falling off again. Turn on. Hit something. Just go 1, 2. Did I bring any junk? For the concentration, I just don't like falling off things. Oops, and I'm too high. Put those in. 2, 3. I really wish you could get something like stairs out of every square building block, because the stairs in these corners would be great. But not likely. Nor can I just like fake it with yellow concrete. Boo. Boo. It's one of those days where I could use my magnet. Oh well. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yes, I can get one over there. That's dumb. There. 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 Need this one. Oh, I did that one wrong. That's okay. My fault. Yeah, no. Go pick them up off the bottom. Audio's pretty quiet. Sorry about that. I'm not really saying a whole lot, and there's not much going on, but I can definitely spruce up Spotify a little bit. It's kind of a chill day in the music world. So let me know if that part gets too loud. Better? Okay, cool. Sorry, I wasn't saying a whole lot, and sometimes I get a little quiet, so do let me know if I'm getting too quiet for your taste. And this is wrong. Out one more. Yeah, I'm not talking a whole lot, so I didn't realize it was me you meant was being quiet. It's funny because sometimes I razz Carnage Joe about that one, saying, "Hey, being a little quiet, Joe. You need to speak up." And then I went and did the exact same thing. So, you know, shame on me. This one. Wrong. Let's go this way. And then this way. Take these two out. Nope, there's a lot falling at the bottom. Go get those. Otherwise, we'll have a start to a bell, then we'll finish another day. Because I'm not going to AFK at that farm on stream again. That was really rough, to put it mildly. Ow. 3 blocks. Really? Okay, either I despawned a bunch, which is pretty possible, or I've gone through 40 some odd blocks already, which is also possible. Now let's just take a look on the way up to make sure I haven't dropped any on things that I could have retrieved. Yep, there's one over there. Let's go creatively fall off something. There's one. Oh, there's one over on the other side. I'm not going to be dumb enough to, to go and, what's the word? Try and fly inside tower. That would be just stupid and a half. There's another one. Finish that level. There's just a wood block. That's okay. On the windows, anything at that level? No. On the clock, anything at this level? No, so I did despawn a bunch. Well, I could berate myself for being dumb about the whole thing, or I could just finish up this part and move on, which is precisely what we're going to do. So it looks like I'm going to spend some AFK time after this. That's okay. There are days, and this is one of them, when I would like, in some days I miss the ability that you had in Valheim to basically have one world be your resource world and another world be your regular world, like where you're actually playing. I miss that, and that's only that in this scenario it would have been useful because then I can, pardon me, go to a world where the gold farm's a little faster and just bring it over by loads. But hey, it happens. Morning, Bob Breen. How are you doing this morning?
Hello.
I've run myself out of blocks for the bell to start with, and it has also occurred to me just now that I also dropped the ball a little bit because I have not torched up anything. Didn't bring any torches with me, and of course the bell is going to have an issue with spawning on it. So I think I need to come down quickly and grab some lanterns or something just to throw up there. By the way, you've been putting out some super cool food stuffs. I would yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna say there. But anyways, I was thinking about some of the stuff you were making, and if our kids would actually eat more variety. They're not picky per se, but they really do not like combined foods. But if they did, I would totally be bugging you for that cookbook where you had all little stickies pointing out, because I think it would be super awesome to try some different stuff. Just, you know, sometimes people get in a bit of a rut, and I was where was that? And some people get in a bit of a rut and they need to up their game, and we do try to up our game on a regular basis. But sometimes people have issues when you don't really want to multi-cook for people. You don't want to multi-cook for all your kids and everything else. Okay. Go to this corner. Work done for the day already? Awesome. Or the kids' taxi run. Yeah. Our taxi run right now, we've got a reprieve because we've got the kids still in grades where they can walk to school. We got that at the end of last year, so we were spoiled by that, but I do get that that's probably going to start up in not too long. But, you know, kids will hit the next school and officially we'll have to take the bus, but we all know that when things go really far south and the weather super stinks, then they're going to get a ride just because we're nice that way. But also that, like, transit cannot be relied upon. Weirdly, that looks janky, but I'm not sure how much I care. Okay, what do I have? 4, 3, 2. I'm just trying to look, see if I can put up. Ooh, if I can actually put up a lantern or two. That one ended up over there, so that's this one here. Get it in. Nope, that didn't work. Can't quite reach. There. Ah. This one. Oh. That was kind of funny, just with the particles and stuff. It looked like I had the lantern lighting things all the way down. 2 pickups and a drop-off. Ouch. Last one at 10 p.m. I'm hoping that's a pickup, not a drop-off. 10 p.m. is kind of disruptive, But it also sounds like they're at an age where being out till 10 is not a big deal. Okay, let's see, 765. So, a little more mature than ours. Why not? Because I got them. Can I reach over there? There we go. That'll do. It's kind of a nice feeling to actually be at the point in this particular world where I don't have to worry as much about having scaffolding just kind of like left all over the place and having it despawn or having wood despawn. The gold's kind of annoying, but yeah. At least there's a shape up there implying that we're going to have a bell at some point. Yeah. Well, it's funny actually. When I know I'm quite a bit older, so it's a different generation. But when I first passed my driving test, for a while my mom would still come and pick me up late at night just because she didn't feel comfortable with me driving late at night. So maybe I'm hoping your eldest one will do well that way, and that they'll be okay with you picking up. Her theory was that when I was tired after a day of work, that she didn't feel that I would necessarily be as alert to be able to be a reliable driver in terms of, safe at all times, just because sometimes she said people make mistakes when they're tired. So, maybe your kids will be fine. It's not for me to make guesses in that direction. But it's always one of the things people wonder, right? Are my kids going to get home safe? And usually the answer is yes. The vast majority of the time, kids aren't stupid. We all do dumb things, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. Oh. Miscellaneous. First, there we go. Let's put that in there. Random carpets. I have to find a block. What I'm going to do with the other project for today is I need to find a block that will sure, whatever. I need to find a block that will go well or decently as a contrast to copper I've got outside. And I'm actually thinking, because it's in the ground, as weird as it sounds, I think I might go with diorite. It's sort of a white look, but it's got a speckled sort of spotty effect. And the copper is all like solid. But I'm thinking polished might look better than the plain diorite. So just gonna stick it on the floor here. Oh, that's not gonna help. Too high. Makes for really long days. Yeah, she could drive herself with you in the car, but she struggles to even speak after a day at college and shift work. Exactly. So it's one of those ones that she may pass the test, which means you can be sort of like off in La La Land while she's driving. But on the other hand, then when she's done work, yeah, sounds like you might still be on shift for a little while. Okay, so this and that. And then, did I bring back copper? I think I brought back copper. Let's put that in the corner for now. There. Just seeing which one I like better. I think the polished will look better. I still like the dirt speckles kind of concept, but I don't think the one on the right works. It's a little too busy. And diorite's one of those semi-underappreciated blocks. So we're off to, as Dadcraft73 so wonderfully puts it, we're off to work on the peanut. just polish these up over here. Yes. And I'm not going to do everything because obviously we don't need all of that. Oops, not that. Let's just at the end of this row and then go outside and see how many it covers. Because it's probably enough. Or even more than enough. What's that? Why did I put that block way up above my head? Alright. Do I have... Okay, I don't have a block, an empty shelf. Can I just put a bunch of chests? Okay, they're there. They're fine. We'll just deal with chests. More dirt. More dirt. Really, what I should be doing is making a trip to the shulker farm, pick up some more shulkers, but that's another one of those. We can do that off camera things. Oh, whoops. Too far. Oh, you get a breath mint. Get a breath mint. Yeah, the polish does look better for sure. Take off the light loads. Basically, all we're going to do is to start with just outline this thing, or not. Well, not outline it, but set it off in white. For example, start on the outside edge. Yeah, being as I was just intending to throw it into the ground, I think that'll work. Oops. I did a big frame for the carpet art, but I don't think it's worth it for the inlay. Because the frame was sort of overkill. It's good, but it's a little overkill. Case in point, so I had done the 150 by 150 Cadfael carpet art, and it came out like that, which was not meant to be map art. I just did it because I wanted to have the design on the ground, and then I put the frame around it with a little bit of matting and stuff, and it looks a bit of overkill, particularly with a very stone thing beside that just needs some more trees for the overhead. But this one I'm just going to outline it in white, or like background it in white, probably easiest. Something a little different, right? Okay. One in this corner. Yeah, plenty of people, like yourself included, Bob, and I think Zero were also telling me that it needed to have some sort of background. So I was discussing Fantastic Sherlock Fox, and he said, yeah, I really do think it should have a background to it. So that's where we are. Doody-doody-doo. I'm not particularly sure what this music is this morning, aside from the fact that it's, I think it's supposed to be the hype train the hype music. I was going to go with chill music this morning, but it dug into hype train was when I hit go, and I didn't bother moving it. I mean, not like it's a hype thing to be doing this type of work. No, I don't need that, but I need to be able to pick up the torch. That's the key. Thank you. Nope, that's not the torch. This is the torch. Alrighty. Let's put that. Oops, not that. There, that'll work. And where's the bottom of this? I figure if I can get the square done, then the inside is stupid, right? Down to... Oh, right at the edge. Okay. Somehow, it's like I had planned this. Dun-da-da-da. Not planned. That's okay. And this just looks dumb. Here. There. That's better. Okay. I can get... Oh, I'm in a hole. Dug myself a hole. Diggy, diggy hole. Maybe if I eat, that could help a little more. When I've got a head cold, I was actually having this conversation with my mother last night. When I've got a head cold, I sound absolutely awful as a singer. Like, totally horrible. Whereas, I mean, I'm bad. You know, everybody is got their own favorite opinions of their own, of their own voice. And normally, I would have said, yeah, not great, but I do it anyways, and it sounds fine. But when I'm sick, unfortunately, it is very clear that I am not a good singer. Oh, no, I haven't actually directly talked about the show last night. So last night I saw Fiddler on the Roof. So for those of you that are familiar with this story, or for those of you that aren't familiar with the story, I guess, quick summary of it, or at least enough to get you figuring out what's going on, is they're talking about a fictional village set in clearly what is today's Russia, well, or map-wise would be Russia for today, and they've got, the whole village is Jewish, in a very staid, very traditional, and by modern standards, very old-fashioned Jewish faith and culture. And so they talk about how everybody's got their role, like the men work for a living and pay for the wife and family, and they learn trades and so on and so forth. And then a lot of it revolves around the fact that their culture, I guess, for lack of a better term, uses a matchmaker to arrange the marriages. They assume that kids can't decide these things for themselves, which we all know now is absolute hogwash. But anyways, neither here or there. Some other cultures would probably disagree with me anyways. But basically, these town, or village, I guess. Oops. Does it go? Yep. Put that one in the wrong spot. The village has decided that that's how things are going to work, right? It's tradition. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way, and so on. One of those never shall things change. Well, unfortunately, change is thrust upon them in multiple different ways. First of which really is that a couple of the young people fall in love with each other. The poor, struggling tailor and the main character's daughter. The main character is basically the milkman. Not in the modern sense, but as in, like, literally, you milk the cow and then you go around and you sell it. Cheese and so on. That's his sort of role in life. And, but it's all from his point of view. But the way they've done it, the guy looks like a crackpot because he's always talking out loud to God, like he's got some sort of imaginary friend in the room. Now, whether or not you believe that's a possibility, that's neither here or there for the purposes of the show. And it's kind of done in such a way that it's like an aside. So one of those, not quite fourth wall breaking, because he's not talking to the audience in a way. He's talking to, I guess you could say the audience is in a way as if it's God. But he's also got an interesting habit of looking at things on the other hand, such and such, and then on the other hand again, such and such. And so that gets to be sort of his thing. The other bit that the town kind of bugs him for is he likes to have his moment where he pretends that he knows about a good book. And so he's not really making fun of it, but keeps coming up with these, as the good book says, and either misattributes a quote, or else he just makes it up. He just sort of makes it up as he goes along. One of the lines that sort of refers to that is talking about when he's wishing he was rich, and he figures that he's going to, that when he's rich, people can ask him all kinds of questions, or if he was rich, people ask the rich people all kinds of questions, And when you're rich, they think you really know, but it really doesn't matter if you answer the question right or wrong. They just assume that you know because you're rich, which is kind of amusing. So anyway, the main character has 5 daughters. Yes, exactly. If I were a rich man, which if I actually had a voice that didn't have a head cold or sinus issues or anything parallel, you probably would have caught a snippet of it. Partly because I have done the play in high school years ago. It's not a necessary harking back to the glory days, ... but more that, so I know the musical really well, suffice to say, including all of, quite a lot of the side commentary lines used inside a song. But anyways, this Tevye is the main character, and his 5 daughters. His oldest daughter, Seitel, falls in love with Model, the tailor. Right about the same time, the matchmaker has decided to make a match between the widowed butcher and Tevye's eldest daughter, because the butcher's taken a liking to her, and the family can't afford to pay the matchmaking fee, and she has no dowry, so they kind of get stuck with it, or at least that's how they feel, is if it's a good match. And it's up to the father to decide if it's a good match. So the wife doesn't, his wife Goldie doesn't tell him why the butcher needs to see him, but just sends him to go see the butcher. Well, the guy thinks that the butcher is actually trying to buy his newest, best milk cow to butcher it up, and so he's not in favor of what he considers this transaction. And the butcher doesn't clue in that that's what the other guy's thinking about. So he's talking about things like, and you know why I'm really interested in her? It's because I'm lonely. And then you see Tevye like scooches his stool off to the side. And so once they realize that there was a misunderstanding, there's a great big chuckle over the whole thing, and off they go. So they make a deal and have a great big party song about the whole thing. And it's one of those meanwhile, ... The town is surrounded by quote unquote the others, as they call it. But they're referring to the non-Jewish people in the area. Their world only comes up, there's only 2 types. There's the Jews and the Gentiles, and that's it. But in any case, there's a very tenuous, very, very tenuous, what do you call it? I wouldn't say truce, that's not the word. Tenuous putting up with each other type of relationship between the Jewish people of their village and the surrounding people from the other areas. And so yeah, that comes to be a political head towards the end of the play. And spoiler alert, of course, as happened a lot during the period where this is set, it's an edict had come from on high, and all Jewish people had to leave their homes and their villages, and they got 3 days notice. Apparently that was a concession, because a lot of the other ones got less than 24 hours, sort of thing, or the implication was that. But anyways, this is all the other pieces going. So the oldest daughter got married to, the oldest daughter, although she's betrothed to the butcher, is in love with the tailor, and then the tailor figures out, like, the daughter refuses to marry the butcher, not at the wedding, thankfully, but refuses to marry the butcher, and then but wants to marry the tailor. So Tevye is stuck with this whole. On the other hand, and he falls for, look how happy she is with him when he sees his daughter with the tailor. So he agrees to it, and then has to figure out how to tell his wife, which is quite amusing, and I won't spoil that one. But anyways, needless to say, the butcher's bitter about the whole thing, but not in a horribly bad way. He was going to gift some food to the new couple and stuff like that, and then there's just a stupid conversation that ensues because the butcher and Tevye don't like each other, and yeah, it's a big mess. But then the second daughter takes a shine to a sort of student, a guy who was a student in Kiev, or Kiev as the Russian pronunciation would be, and he and her sort of fall in love. Well, that's great, except that they can't marry right away because he's an activist, and so he goes off to Kiev to, I guess, show up in some sort of rally or something. And supposedly the implication is a non-violent rally, but the guy gets arrested and sent off to Siberia, and the daughter wants to go join him in Siberia. Insanity, but yeah, sure. And then that's the second one. Now the bad news, unfortunately, is it doesn't stop there. I mean, aside from the fact that the matchmaker is a nosy, busybody old lady who loves to spread what starts out as news, but then when it becomes full-on ridiculous, completely over-the-top rumor, she doesn't deny it, because she's basically trying to keep her position, as she feels. She's a widow herself, who never got remarried, and has taken on this position of being matchmaker for everybody else. So how that seems to be appropriate is beyond me, but hey, no accounting for culture that may or may not have been. So she is spreading rumors and stuff with it, but what is actually happening is, unfortunately, one of the Gentiles has taken a shine to Tege's third daughter, and because she loves books and he loves books, and they actually do fall in love, but it's a sort of a secret hanging out with each other thing while she's working at the tailor's. So her, now by this point now brother-in-law, she's working at the brother-in-law's tailor shop, and this is the professional relationship is fine, but or business one, but the personal one is certainly not, because they think of the Jewish people as dogs, and the Jewish people really just don't like the other guys. I can't remember what they call them. They don't really mix with them. So unfortunately, that particular relationship continues to exist, but the fallout really goes south. So yeah, another one of those I would really spoil it moments. But yeah, for his other two daughters, though, they just hang out. And so when the town does, unfortunately, eventually get evicted after a couple of minor issues that they sort of try to cover over, you can see everybody's all split up, and so the people you dealt with through the rest of the show are all going different places, different directions. One of them has an idea that they're going to go to Israel. Another one has an idea that they're going to do them figure they're going to emigrate to America. One of them figures they're going to move to another city in Russia where they actually have where they think they're going to be able to work hard and make the money to emigrate, which, I mean, being Jewish, that's not very likely, but in any case, that's what they thought. And so it's a really neat show. My only complaint with it last night, being as I know the show fairly well and stuff, is that they had one set, actually maybe three complaints. They had one set they used as a barn that only shows up at the very, very end, which is completely useless in the end of the show. Like, it was unnecessary. One of the characters, the bookish gal who falls in love with the Gentile, was sung a little too operatically for a musical. There's certain musicals where that would fit. Like, say, for example, I was thinking she would make a really fantastic Anne for Anne of Green Gables, because Anne's character is meant to be overly dramatic in personality, just because she loves the drama and the mystical, or the not mystic, but the magic of it all, her fantasies. But this one was really not meant to be like that. Like, the character was actually meant to be very different. So yeah, doing it a little operatically bothered me. They had a couple little minor costume issues in terms of, like, the milkman's family is really poor, but the clothing choices that they made for the period were a little bit inappropriate in terms of like how many layers of clothing. So a lot of the ladies in town, in the village, have like a single layer blouse because that's what they can afford. But this lady had one that looked more like the more European style lower front with an underblouse, and that doesn't work based on the finances available to a milkman. So yeah, that was just a costuming mistake there. The guy who plays the butcher can't sing. Like, he's not flat, it's just his voice is so incredibly gravelly that I actually wonder how on earth he ever got a job in a musical. His acting was fine, but even as that gruff character, it just, for a musical, doesn't work for me. I've never been a fan of that voice style. And then let's see, there was one other piece. Oh, the way they, the way they started the whole thing. I didn't bring the stone cutter, and I honestly thought I was going to have too much. Okay. The way they started the whole thing in the musical was they started it by having a gentleman, the actor who plays Tevye, but anyways, kind of relevant at that point, but coming in like a red parka with his hat off, and he's carrying some sort of book, and he starts reading little bits, sort of like out of the book. And I think what they're implying out of that one is supposed to be like maybe some sort of family descendant or something going back in time, like a tourist or some such. But the problem with that is it's never really pointed out. That just happens at the beginning, then the guy shows up again at the end, and that's it. They don't use the character for anything else. So they don't explain why he's there, what he's doing, or anything. He's just there. Which didn't work for me. But, I mean, it didn't ruin it. It's one of those didn't make any sense moments. I would definitely recommend people see the show. One of the really touching things that they did at the end was with the whole cast on stage. They had an encore bit that might have been planned as part of a show normally, but they took the time to pause and make a minor political statement regarding the stuff going on over in Ukraine and Russia and so on. I mean, it really fits because the musical right now is kind of timely, and it was actually scheduled. I'd seen the schedule and knew that this one was on it in the sort of the upcoming year or two sort of thing, before the political mess overseas, or before the political mess overseas flared up as bad, and we ended up with war. But so this thing was planned before that, but they took the time to stop and dedicate every single performance of their show to the people in Ukraine, and then they had this sort of like, so our last dance is dedicated to them, and they just had like a happy Jewish celebration dance styling thing like they'd done in the rest of the show. It was an interesting thought, but the cheer, wow, that kind of floored me a little bit. Like the cheer came up from the crowd. It's kind of weird. Another thing that actually you won't get anywhere else, it's one of those you had to be there moments, is we know that there's a family who sits a few rows behind us. I go with my mother to most of these shows. She's got season tickets. And there's a family who sits a few rows behind us who brings their autistic daughter, who's very, like, I wouldn't say high functioning, definitely not independent, but very much gets into musicals. And it's not just a calming her sort of thing. Like, she really gets into it. And and supposedly her parents claim that even after musicals, if there's one that's really clicked with her, she'll be randomly humming parts of the tunes from it. So it really gets that. And then different little things that will come out in her behavior will imply that she's picked up on parts of the story. So at one point, she emotionally lost it. Like, in the story, as you can imagine, is quite a serious one. But she emotionally lost it. So you could hear in the back, like a couple rows back, that she was basically breaking down in tears, empathizing with some of the characters. And so that's one of those things that hits you really hard. Makes it really hard for other people not to start sniffing because they can hear her too. That was really kind of interesting. And I also was amused because we sat next to a couple I don't recall sitting next to before, but an older couple who clearly knew the show. And so the gentleman who was there, every once in a while, he would just like, it wasn't quite under his breath, probably due to his age. He didn't really necessarily realize what under his breath was anymore. But he would out with a couple of the lines for the very next song coming up. And I probably would have been annoyed if I didn't know the show too. But it was really, so that part was amusing because a couple of serious times he did that. I had trouble not cracking up. So yeah, I had a good time. Can you tell? What did I hit? But yeah, that was my adventure last night. Amusingly to me, at least, not related to the show directly, but one of the scout leaders that I work with is also into the musicals, and she and her mother also have season tickets. And so she apologized because her show comes up tonight. And it was amusing because we used to have tickets for Thursdays, just because it just worked out better for my mom that way. But then when she found out that I would regularly have a commitment on Thursday, because that's when Scout Night is, I have Cub Night on Monday, and so I have Scout Night on Thursdays. And when she found out that was the case, then she tried her best to move the tickets. Occasionally they're on Tuesdays, usually they're on Wednesdays, but she's doing her best to move them around. So I was spoiled that way, which turned out to be a good thing, because otherwise we might have been short on leaders tonight. But, so I jokingly sent the other leader a message and saying, so, do you want to know my general review? And the other scouter didn't reply, and I'm not surprised, but we tend to sometimes agree, but usually disagree on whether we like the musical. She quite enjoys Hamilton. I didn't like it, which people seem to think I'm strange for not liking it, but I'm not a fan of rap music. I mean, hey, you got season tickets, right? You go anyway. And also, I hadn't seen it, so it was one of those, you see it because it's sort of like pop culture. You gotta know what's going on. So there's that. But also, like, I didn't like that one. And then there was one other one I'd seen with my mom a couple of years ago that this other lady likes that I just can't stand. So, and that was the Book of Mormon. One would think I'm biased because I actually boarded with a Mormon family for a while, and that's not why I don't like it. It's a type of satire that has gone a little too far over the top for me to find it respectful in any way. So that's why I don't like that one. Where some people go, oh, come on, you just don't have a sense of humor. No, I like a lot of stuff. I mean, hey, I'm all about, British senses of humor. I'm all about, it doesn't have to be dry. I'll take Saturday Night Live. I'll take slapstick. There's lots of different types of humor I enjoy, just not the insulting satire variety. So, to each their own. I mean, it's not one of those things I'm really going to get overly offended by. Just one of those ones where if it comes up again, I will refuse the ticket. That's about all there is to it. Trying to see which one. But yeah, so I quite enjoy musicals. I probably, though, somebody had asked me once if there was a Harry Potter musical, one of my other big fandoms, would I actually want to go to the Harry Potter musical? I would go probably to say I'd seen it. I'm not keen on the idea, so I really hope that nobody does it. Because, it seems like these days, just about everything is becoming musical. And what's really kind of sad is some of the stuff that's becoming musical, or is a musical already, is becoming a musical, then not a musical, and then back into being a musical. So, for example, there was High School Musical, which wasn't actually a musical, but there's High School Musical. Then they did like a stage show of High School Musical, which then got turned, you guessed it, into a musical. How does that work? There was the story or the book Matilda, which is really like the original one. It's really like, there's two real versions of it. There's one that's just a little short poem, and then there's sort of the ones that have wrapped Matilda in with the even shorter story Madeline, and added those together and turned it into something. Well, that's now become Matilda the Musical, which isn't necessarily a problem per se, but then when you get Matilda the Musical the movie, or things similar to that concept, it's getting kind of dumb. So, like there's another one. So something like, I think it was High School Musical that became the stage show. So was it that, and then it became a movie, or I can never remember the order, but the movie became the stage show, became the movie. Like, it's just things start to wrap around in circles, and it becomes like a giant media game of telephone, where it was good once, but then it fell apart. Thanks for your vote, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I know it's very blocky, as in, like, it's got all these borders on it, but I think that goes well with the fact that these are borders I cannot get rid of. And it makes the point, right? Like, it points out a little bit that it's art, and it also emphasizes how the art was done, in terms of the fact that it was done as a pixel art with an intention to pixelize the program. So I'm letting it stay looking like pixels. I'm not going to say it's anything fancy. I had to laugh, though. somebody said, you know, if you're making pixel art in Minecraft, does that mean by necessity it's cubist? I never really thought about it. Probably not by the artistic definition of cubism. But hey, you could say it is. It's a stretch, but it works. So let's take a quick look. I'll just pause before I get too far here. And I kind of like the way it looks from the ground.
Hello. Hello.
I'm just going to take a quick look, hopefully from the sky without crashing too hard on the way back. Get a double up here. Triple, why not? Do a quick flyby. Yeah, that's not too bad. You kidding me? That is ridiculous because I've got Feather Falling 4 boots that were fully mended, and you saw how close I was to the ground before I ever hit anything. I wasn't really going that fast. Stupid. But I guess that deserves a button. There we go. How rude. Hey Tiz, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I've dropped out of the place where Tiz and I are most likely to see each other, just because I found I had far too many Discords and can't keep up with them all, so I figured I would rearrange what I was up to. Aha, excellent choice. Excellent choice. So I figured I would rearrange what I was up to try and make things a little more interesting, not a little more interesting, easier to keep up with. So, okay, have I get everything I needed? I think so. Strange enough, I probably won't have enough diorite. How do I manage that all the time? Like a bazillion half-finished projects. So one of the things that we've talked about doesn't happen right now is I don't get stuck with a server reboot during the middle of my stream, for better or worse. And the reason I say that is, for better or worse, is that I used to do Lego builds during those breaks, but seeing as that's not happening, then I've still been having an itch to build the Legos. People can still redeem Lego 5 minutes if I actually bother to remember to have the option available. Excuse me 1 second. Ooh. It's for truth. Good timing. Good timing to show up just in time to beat people with the planty. Oops. So, one. There we go. So where was I going with that? I can't remember. Oh, right. So I mean, it's still redeemable, but it's one of those not necessarily required. Yeah, okay, it's enabled. However, because I've got an itch to build some Lego, I think tomorrow I'm probably gonna do an impromptu surprise off the record stream. So starting at noon Eastern, and do probably, let's look at my sets here. Probably Sirius's Rescue, the Sirius Rescue set. They call it Hogwarts Courtyard Sirius Rescue. I'll probably do that one tomorrow. And start at noon, and then just go on through till it's built. Because once again, like some of my other builds, it's really not going to take forever. Sorry about that. Still have that lingering sinus issue, and I don't know if it's going to go away. Because I even got away with like not using meds overnight last night, and but the result is that every once in a while I just feel like I've got an unignorable dry tickle that I just can't do much with. Yeah, I've had this since probably what mid-November-ish, I think, more or less. I don't know if I picked it up at camp. Probably not. Maybe towards the end of November. Fantastic Shop Fox would be better able to guess that than I would. But it's been ridiculous long. I know for sure I was quote unquote sick the first week in December, and it just was like, oh, it's a head cold, whatever. I do know that sinus issues run in my family. My grandmother had them on my dad's side, like one of those permanent seniors post-nasal drips. And there's implications that my father has the same thing. So I would not be surprised if I inherited the same thing, because got all the other lovely, wonderful things from that family. Between bad knees and ankles that make dancing rough, the possibility for arthritis, yay, and then just issues with my body deciding that it's far less tolerant than some other body types for me to be not enjoying exercise. Like my mother's side, one of them was very heavy and ended up with heart issues and stuff, but even though he was a very manual labor preferring farmer who did a lot of that stuff himself as much as he could, he still got super heavy. And my dad's mom got super heavy. My dad's been fighting it for years and is doing well at it. I mean, you can't fault a guy who's 76 for still working out to have a triangle back. Like, that's impressive. But it's one of those ones where there's a point at which his system just said screw you, and it's given him a Dunlop tire, as in his midsection Dunlop over. So I suspect that I've probably got a possibility of those issues. I should probably, and Fantastic Shark Fox is politely reminding me of such frequently, I should probably cave and go talk to a GP about it and see what they think. Just because, as I was mentioning earlier, I used to enjoy doing things like, playing acoustic guitar and singing for my own pleasure and stuff like that, but there's a lot of the year I can't do that now. That's okay, you move on, you find different hobbies, like addictions to Minecraft. That's how it goes, right? Yeah, I think that was Fantastic Sherlock Fox. You missed the pool. We should probably I should probably sit down and think about some way to give a micro reward or redeem or something freebie for hitting the pool or getting the goal on Plinko. Just haven't figured out what to do with that yet, because I'm unable to gift extra clues. Would be nice, but this one doesn't run on a point system that allows for that. Anyways, derailing from the Lego comment. Yeah, so I'm probably going to do a Lego stream tomorrow, rather impromptu. Provided all goes well. I don't think there's any real issues. I just need to make sure that nothing else comes up. That's really all it is. And I know that one's been just sort of announced out of the blue and not actually scheduled so anybody knows about it. So that's part of why I'm keeping the bigger build that I wanted to do for another day. Probably will advertise it a bit better. Yeah. It may be a faux Twitch-iversary stream, I guess. Maybe that's another way of looking at it. Because I have absolutely no clue when my Twitch anniversary is. As I've said earlier this week, I thought that I had gone live. I know for sure I had gone live officially December 29th, but that was just more of a test checks and whatever. And so I didn't really think about it, but it was in January, within the first week or two, I think, that I'd gone live with streams that were okay, but I felt the tech wasn't worth, like the way the issues turned out and stuff, and my confidence level really was not worth saving. So I didn't start uploading VODs to YouTube probably about a month later, I think. Something like that. So if I can't even judge by going back that far. But yeah, that's just something I want to do. I really want to be able to build some of these Lego kits. I've received oh shoot, I can't even remember when I received the Sirius one. I do apologize to Fantastic Shark Fox for that, because he's the one that gifted it to me. But I know that the 12 Grimald Place, which is in storage as well, is one that he kindly gave me for our anniversary in September last year. And here we are, January. So you can understand that I'm interested in getting that one built. I figure since I've squared off, I might as well add a couple extra copper at the bottom there, just to let the glasses chain go further down. That would look good. 1, 2, this one, and then that would be a copper there. This. Oh. Didn't go. Oh, Linko doesn't like you today. That's not good. And you know what? Nobody told me I had an extra title on my screen that isn't correct. It's gonna take a quick boo and get that fixed. Take off this one and add that one. Yeah, that's more accurate. And I suspect I may have my usual fine server helper sleeping for me half the time. I just want to make sure that I avoid the phantoms. I don't know if JBT is being kind enough to sleep for me, but it just does seem to mean that when I'm live, mysteriously, people sleep. It's not guaranteed, but it seems to happen. So I will not look a gift horse in the mouth in that respect. And I really should figure out a better way to light this thing up. But unfortunately, diorite is whole blocks. So it's a little difficult to hide the lighting in there. I don't know if I might be able to find some sea lanterns from someone on the server that I could buy, and then just switch out a few sort of select try and figure out the minimum lighting pattern right now, and then switch those out for sea lanterns. Just spawn-proof is pretty high on my preferred list. And it just occurred to me, I'm such a doofus. Okay, what did I... Okay, so what I mean by I'm just such a doofus... and I just keep my shit. This part cleaned out before I get that. Okay. Is if I get over here... So I could have done polished diorite slabs. But my question becomes, and I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Actually, let's pick one beside me. Something weird so I know where it goes back. Does this. So I could do cut copper, but then they all have weird little squares on them. And that's something I don't want. I definitely don't want the squares. So I could do that as the copper part being raised. I think that would look really dumb, honestly. But I'm willing to listen to feedback or input. I just need to figure out how to light this up. Is really what it comes down to. And if I was to be intentionally annoying, one of the thoughts I'd had for a super thin border on this one, I wasn't going to border it, particularly since I didn't give myself enough space. One of the thoughts I had for a super thin border on here could be to actually do my cheesy farm ring where I've taken jack-o'-lanterns and put them in the ground so they're level, but they have light on them, which works great for farms. I love that because then you've got all your farm at the ground level. That way you've got all your farm at the ground level, but you don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. Okay, so I am out of diorite again. I'm going to go see if I have any more. If not, I'll take a look and see what it takes to make it. See if I can do this without hitting the ground. Apparently not. Oh well, it's only been this season that I learned to fly in the first place. Where's the dirt and row? Dirt and, okay. This one? No. So let's go. This. That one. There we go. Dirt over here. That's andesite. Diorite. Empty. Take that. See how far that will get us. So what have you been up to lately, Tiz? I haven't had a chance to touch base. I gather you are probably still building some very... Oh, copper. Still building some very awesomely creative things. I'm going to bet more organics. That seems to be something that was really hitting you for you this particular season. But I haven't had an opportunity to pop over and see what's been going on over there. at least on the Phantom server. Been a little bit distracted between real life with kids being home and stuff for Christmas, and then having discovered Vault Hunters and realizing it's just an underscore about how much I'm just not a hardcore player. I'm just not a super talented player. Pardon me, scratching my nose. The ellipsis got you again, Swanky. Unban Mr. Swanky. Thank you, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, for catching that. Yeah. Okay, so once again, the ellipsis does not like people. Sorry, the automod does not like people using an ellipsis without a space after it. I'm almost tempted to do 26 different exceptions where it's got an ellipsis with just about every possible letter of the alphabet. But then with my kind of luck, somebody put a symbol right after that. It's just... And what I don't understand is why is my stream so fussy about that, whereas others are not. Yeah, it comes up on my screen as though you've been banned. So I've got an unban, a timeout, and a trash can are the only 3 options easily available to me. I'd love to just fix that. I may end up having to ask for a bit more Google Foo conversation, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, just because sometimes there might be, how to fix it search terms that I'm just not looking for, or not phrasing my question correctly when I'm asking for assistance on that front. But that auto mod is not coming from my bot. I did check into that. As far as I know, my bot's actually not blocking anything. Like, there's no blocking abilities in the streamer bot mod in the first place. So that would be coming from most likely Twitch itself, although there's a slim chance that I might still be getting some residuals from when I used to use Stream Elements months and months ago. Well, have fun, Mr. Taxi Driver. Thank you very much for coming by. I really do appreciate it. And glad we were able to see you. We'll catch you around in Discords. As I've talked about it over and over, that's another one of those things that may pop up soon. As I keep saying I'm going to get a Discord, I've been dragging my feet on figuring out the ins and outs of how to manage one properly, because one that's just been thrown up higgledy-piggledy is just asking for trouble. I need to figure out a little bit more, but I want to give it a shot. It's not that hard. So there may be a Discord coming soon. Part of the reason I've actually been delaying on some of these things is still trying to figure out what my unified look is. And people talk about marketing and all that kind of jazz, and I'm not necessarily hung up on becoming big time or anything silly like that. And the silliness is being hung up on it, not that becoming big time isn't silly. But anyway, one of the big keys is having a unified look, and I really don't have much of a look of any sort. It's just sort of an is, so I have to really figure out where the feel is. If anybody has any suggestions based on what they've been seeing, that's great, but no pressure whatsoever. But please do stay safe, Bobrine, and good luck with the traffic. So what has Swanky... Oh, I can't even talk today. What has Swanky Potato been up to lately? I haven't, unfortunately, had the opportunity to catch many of your streams, just with other things. It's hard to keep up with everybody, and sometimes when you've got too many at once, I think the maximum streams simultaneously I can take, if they're not all on the same topic, is about 3. So unfortunately, sometimes I haven't been able to hang out in yours as much as I would like. Okay. This is sad, like, I'm only out that much. Okay, let's see if I've got the supplies to make it. To make the diary. Darn you, Benson, stealing my first redeem. Well, I mean, hey, there's still the option available, if you want, to be my biggest fan. There's always that possibility. Then you might have to fight Lyric for it. I mean, maybe sometimes I think the biggest fan redeem is how I make an attempt unsuccessfully to keep Lyric points poor just for kicks. Oh, I guess I can. Yeah, I guess I can delete that now. As embarrassing as that is. All right, let's get this one and remove it. Okay, what do we need? Four, 8. Oh, well that's gonna be a problem. Cobble not an issue, you know, stone generator and all. Nether quartz could be an issue. Because I think I converted all of my nether quartz into regular quartz. For the other projects I was doing. Yeah. Alright, well, that's a stall. That's a stall on project. Because even if I go to the villagers to trade, that's actually not going to get me nether quartz, it gets me blocks of quartz. Ah! Can't win! I can at least put in that the couple extra copper blocks I needed. Okay, well, plan B. I guess. We're on to plan C now, but it's already half past. Because the earlier plans was I was going to build a bell. Well, I despawned a few blocks by mistake and didn't have enough anyways. That's one plan down. So we got what we could there. And then this was plan 2, which I thought, oh, yeah, not a big deal. We'll get close to the end. Well, yeah, that's it. Close to the end. Not complete. So, I need a plan 3. And I'm not particularly sure what I want to do for that one. I know the place needs signage and stuff, but that's one of those things that I think is best done off stream. Because it gives its own tour. And I could have sworn that running was faster. But it's not. Right then. What I think I'm going to do actually then, just to finish up, pardon me, is I'm quickly going to take a be right back, grab myself a coffee break, another sip or two, and just a real quick stretch while I load up Vault Hunters, and we'll just run a couple of vaults just because I've got no other major plans at the moment that work well on stream, and that should get us through to the end of a regular stream slot. Probably a little easier than firing up Lego last minute, I think, because that is so different from Minecraft. So we'll switch over, and I shall see you guys shortly. I swear Tech loves me this morning. So, changing tactics again. We're actually going to switch instead over to a quick round of marbles. Just because the Vault Hunters has 142 mods, some of which are rather hefty and takes forever in a day to load. So that gap you've had thus far, that was loading the Vault Hunters. I go to connect to the world, and then it said that the server was invalid. Please restart your game session and your launcher. I'm like, really? So I have to quit everything out and then come back in again, which is a super waste. So while we're doing that, instead, we're just going to switch over to marbles for a little bit, and we'll just have a really short batch of 5. Actually, let's start with one map, and we'll see how we're doing on that. So let's go a standard. And if anybody has a favorite map, feel free just to put, I think it's ! Vote, and then any number up to, I believe it's 66. So 1 through 66. And we'll just go with that. Otherwise, I would just randomly pick one. It's not a big deal. In absence of feedback, I'm just going to hit random. And what do we have here? Fear of heights. How appropriate. How appropriate. All right. So we're actually going to allow viewers, if you want to play, then we know how to do this. Since ! Play, we'll just run this one through. It might be me. I don't know. We'll just see. I'm not playing Marble Royale at this point, but I've never played this particular map. So if you would like to play on this one, you just type an ! Play. This is the first time I've actually run marbles on stream, so there may be a few hiccups. But yeah, we'll give that a couple minutes, and then we will just figure out where we're going to next. Because sometimes your plans don't go as you'd originally hoped they would. In case anyone's curious, I do still have the Vault Hunters attempting to load in the back, but it's just taking its sweet time. IT. Given that I'm the only one in this one, I think I will just swap out this one. Nope. Plan Q. Taking a quick look. Studio mode is a blessing on OBS. Okay, well, when all else fails, Lego your way through life, right? So let's swap it up. All right. So we're seeing the... Oops, just have to get the keyboard out of the way, because you guys don't need that. There we go. All right. Now we've got space to work. And my hands are incredibly bright. But that's the lighting. So we have, as you can see on the screen there, we've got the Harry Potter and Hedwig owl delivery. And it looks like he's bringing in a broom. And that's what we're going to build, just a vinyl pack that had come at some point free with one of the other kits I'd had. So I'm just going to open that up and get right on building it. There's not much to this one, so there's not a whole lot of point in knolling, sorting the pieces, but it does make things go a little bit faster. We'll just sort those out because they're part of the bench, and it's easy as pie to do anyways. Got cups and extra clips in there. Here's our Hedwig. Love it. Come on, camera. It doesn't like my focus depth. Oh well. Could be worse. So we have ourselves red, brown. Can't count. Can't talk today either, apparently. Alright. We're sorted as we're gonna get. So first off, clearly, we have little Harry Potter. He's the short stubby legs. I'm not a huge fan of those ones. Partly because by necessity they are unmovable. And we've got two faces for Harry, which don't show very well on camera. But let's see if we can get it. This is the... Oop. There we go. So there's the main face. And then on the back side, we've got his frightened face. So I'm just going to stick with the main one because he's getting something happy. So why would he need to be all frightened? That just doesn't make sense. So it is... Oh, come on. I'm just trying to snap his hair on. It just doesn't want to go. There we go. And we can see with his hair, they actually do have the detail of... Oh, it's showing camera. Fantastic. There's a scar right above his eyebrow on the... when you look at it, it's on the left. And it actually fits in the little hair gap right up in here. Yeah. Bit of a Lego backup. Was attempting to run marbles, but I'm the only one apparently interested at the moment, so I decided, okay, well, I'll stall that one. That's okay. And another time, we'll do Lego instead for now. So we've got a fairly simple instruction sheet, which is part of why I didn't bother looking it up on the web. But I'll just set it on the side here so everybody can see, and maybe let's use this side because then it's slightly less glare. Slightly less glare. Maybe. I still have to figure out the lighting here. It's not about ring lights or anything like that. It's that no matter what you do, I'm either overlit or underlit. Alright, so the first thing we've got is just one of these cross pieces, and then they put a couple of flat bits that become bench seating. Some like the Lego, some don't, but I need something to do other than Minecraft once in a while. And if Vault Hunters is being a pill, then I guess I don't get to load Vault Hunters. That's just the way it is. Alright, so that kicks us up to step 3, and then for 4, they want little brown bits right next to the benches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oops. This way. 4, not a cupcake. Alright. Like that. And then they just want the 2 archways on the ends. Simple. And I'm not particularly sure why Plinko is being a pill. It's supposed to be functional, but it doesn't seem to want to be. The drop seems to work, but the Plinko is not happy camper right now. Anyways, then this piece goes across the center. Big, it's just like a 2x8, I believe, but it's more thin 2x8. You didn't see that. Nope, not at all. Didn't see that. This is like kind of like what happens when you let Hagrid play with things. All right. Oh, which reminds me, actually, one of the books I've got for Christmas, and have delved into a little bit, but haven't gotten very far yet, is someone gave me... Hello! Nope, saw nothing. Hey, Yellow, how are you doing? One of the books I got for Christmas was, I've got Alan Rickman's journals. So, like, he was one of those guys who would just write journal entries or diaries in between doing other things. And so I got that, and I'm quite enjoying it because it talks about a lot of different pieces. And it sounds, the bit I'm reading through right now sounds a lot like Wisdom, but although it's supposedly the selected portions from earlier in his career, they've included these as an appendix to the main bit of the book, which is a much more in-depth collection of his journal writings. What part? Say from the 90s to about 2015. And so I felt that I really wanted to read it in chronological order rather than just starting chronological and then jumping backwards. So I decided that I was going to just start reading the appendix first, and so far I've been enjoying it. I'm not even going to ask what I just did. I felt it go. When I get distracted, I squeeze things too hard, so the bench hit me in the upper arm as it went over my shoulder. Well, it's stuff like that is your excitement when you watch Delenn building Lego. But yeah, so there's the table. We've got the table, and we've got Harry. And then all left is to put Hedwig's clip on. We just have one of these little, like, they're wrench-shaped pieces. Let's see, is that doing its thing? Yeah, close enough. It's like a wrench-shaped piece. It just goes up inside and becomes Hedwig's feet, but they actually, in order to make it fit, they give you one of these, like, little white single studs with a hole in it, which that fits it in when I do it the correct direction. There we go. So in essence, Hedwig stands on that stud, and then we just flip in the broom, which is all she wrote. Now in the picture on the front, they actually have Hedwig like flying in with the broom. As you can understand, that would not have anything remotely standable. So what I've done in the past, I got this set once before, and I've just twisted the broom to the back a little bit so that when I put it down, it's got something that'll kind of keep Hedwig slightly standing. There. You can sort of see that it does work. And of course, Harry's supposed to have a wand. Because they are so incredibly losable, for the most part, I don't usually give the wizards their wands. Instead, I store them away. So I remove the sprue out the middle. The Lego's so awesome, I'm gonna die! I just take the sprue out of the middle, and it's black. Put it in. So, giving you an example, just a few of these. Hopefully I don't spill them while I do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. So I'm going to, at some point, need a box, like a new box. So you can sort of see in the camera, I have a lot of the wands. And so, if a character loses one, technically I've got spares, but I mean, the deal is, this is part of why I have so many, is because I don't drop them in other places. I got, as a gift with purchase kind of thing, at one point, one of the, like, mini Adidas shoes. It came with a little wrapper guide. He had a spare microphone. Well, of course. Guess what I've lost? But other than that, it's all good. It's all good. So, I mean, if that worked well for you, then we can always redeem 5 more minutes of building something. The... LOL yellow. Yeah, totally. It's like, but I can't say, it's squishy! It's so squishy! Like, the unicorn was wonderful and squishy because, well, we saw what happens when I squish it. Things kind of go whee all over the place. But, next up, so letting you guys know, like, if I do an impromptu build tomorrow, tomorrow's build will probably be this one, which is the Hogwarts Courtyard Serious Rescue. Now, I'm well aware that some of you also watch Maribel Jade, and she's been doing this one in pieces on her stream, so sort of build another step redeem. I know that there's a bit of collision, but perfectly honest, even if all of my viewership watches her, I'm not really particularly sure that they care if I go ahead and build this one. The one that I'm planning to do on stream, if people redeem or when I need to do Lego reboots, would be this one, which is, I'll bring it up just a little bit more. There we go. Kind of hard to see because I've got the glare going. But it's the Hogwarts carriage with Thestrals. And so you can see we've got Luna Lovegood there, and Harry Potter, and then the Thestrals with an open top carriage. Which I find it kind of interesting because the stories were actually closed top in a lot of cases. Actually, no, I'm trying to remember, was it closed top or was it open top? I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. It could also be another one of those things that I'm remembering different between the books and the movies. That's another one of those foibles we often have. But I also find amusing this one. This one, like the Hogwarts Magical Trunk, does come with the printed Quiddler tile. You can see Luna holding it there. And that one looks pretty cool. So actually, I'm going to just grab that one and see if we can show you guys up close. That Quibbler is custom tile, looks like this. So that was the custom tile for the Quibbler. And we have ourselves about 10 minutes left, so I can either attempt to start something in Minecraft. We could try going back to marbles, or I could load some more Lego. Do any of those things appeal to anybody? Limited. I don't know if those are limited run. The Magical Trunk may have been limited run. The Vinyl Bag, I believe, definitely was. So how I've got two, I'm not particularly sure. All of the above. Well, since I can only do one at a time, then let's see. Doesn't really matter which one we start, actually. Any particular preference, Yellow? I know you said all of the above are awesome. You can hear Lego, okay, or not Lego, you can hear Minecraft. Let's see. It's kind of blocky and laggy. That could be a bit of a problem. Okay, just going to quickly take one more coffee sip and I will be right back. Sorry about that. I had a coughing fit after the coffee, so I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't hear that. So I'm feeling the Lego, and I think I'm gonna go with that because the Vault Hunters was being very, very blocky and laggy, and I just really didn't want to get stuck in a vault doing that. And I'm kind of at a pause point for doing the anything on the vanilla server at the moment. So first off, we've got ourselves, this is the main body of the Thestral that comes out. I'm a little disappointed that it's all one piece like that. Lego has in the past for, say, 4+ systems and stuff, been able to custom print things like the back leg, you know, or the neck or whatever, could have been made in 2 or 3 different pieces, so they just put the whole thing together. But this is all one, so I'm a little disappointed in that. However, I do like the custom printing on the head. You can see up here that it's actually got like lines on its face. I did not expect that to happen, so we'll stick with that. Let's go with renaming the set that we're on. We got the box and okay, Lego custom print set name properties. This is Use my hands. Hog. Oop. Old coming capitals. Hogwarts. Carriage. And Thestrals. There we go. Wow, that is so not centered. There we go. Much better. Alright. So normally we will have, if I'm doing it for 5 minutes, we'll have the PDF version up on the side of the screen, but I don't actually have the PDF with me on this one, so we're going to fake it till you make it on the side here. We'll just start out with the first bag and see what we get. And then I want you to build the characters first, of course. Luna, and then the Thestral needs its wings, and Harry, I guess is what's coming out of the first box. First bag, okay. Let's find bag. Anything. Oh. Well, silly me, there's only one bag. Alright. With a separate, like, little tiny bag, but it's all being done at once. Sorry for all the crickety-crackety noise. Alright. And this one doesn't know what to focus on. I always wonder if at some point I would be able to find...
Oh, hello there!
Hello, Benson! How are you doing today? Good to see you! Good to see you! And rather literally, how's your head today? Sounds crazy to ask, but I'm hoping your headaches are starting to subside. We are finishing up the stream today with a little bit of Lego. We built a... Oh, it doesn't show very well here. We built a Harry Potter set. It took all of like 3 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, maybe, and including my mistakes. And so I just figured, well, kind of on a stall on the vanilla server, so I'm just going to... Ooh, wrong way. Kind of on a stall on the vanilla server, so I'm just going to move along and do some more Lego. So we're on to the Thestral set, as you can see there. So first thing they want is for us to be able to put this one together. Now we've got... Is that black? Gray. Okay. We've got a gray that goes across the back. I also have the opportunity for some marbles, so that's something we could look at. I've just never actually run it on stream before, so like Joe, I would have to be learning from scratch. Okay. Where is fit? Which needs... Like, this is why I sort Lego. Diggy, diggy, diggy. There we go. That piece. That's a square with a... Basically the harness with the mount, I guess. The hitch, that's what I'm looking for. Can't speak English today. PCD. Headache's only about a 2. Oh, that's good to hear. Very, very good to hear. Yeah, even in our house when we get migraines, not necessarily your experience, but even in our house when we get them, we can still get them in like a, you know, that enough that it qualifies to use the word migraine appropriately, and then you look at like a 7 or an 8. So I'm kind of glad that you're not having that situation today. We're going to put on a couple of clips and add some wings. I can find the other clip. There we go. So far, so good. I like the way the wings are done. I'll show you guys up close real quickly here. Oh, if I actually pay attention, there's a piece I missed. It is that one. There we go. I'm assuming they have to have studs up front just so that a rider could actually sit up front. One lovely wing, and the other lovely wing. Just a slightly closer look at this one. Wrong way. Go over the other side. So that's the Thestral, which none of the characters are supposed to be able to see unless they've been around somebody who died. So Harry should have been able to see them right from square one, but he doesn't get to see them first year that they ride in the carriages, which I find really rather odd. The excuse being that he has seen death since then, and but Luna can see them right from square one because the implication is that she was around when her mother died. Yeah, only 2 is an improvement for sure, for sure. I just have a couple of little horn spike kind of things they're putting in the edges of the wings, like a fingernail, I suppose. Put them in wrong. That's okay. There we go. Alright. Now we're on to the carriage. And it is noon. So, rather than digging into the carriage, you can see... Oh, pull this part up. You can see that we've got some interesting stuff to start with. And we can easily do those during server reboots next week, or, any set of build request 5 minutes. But I think as we've hit the hour, I'm just going to quickly see if anyone has managed to fire up their streamer who's also doing something interesting this morning. There's a lot of, interesting people. Yeah, that's totally worth it. Just want to see who, what, is that this? Okay, channels I follow. What are they doing is the key. Come on. Load. I'm hearing zombies. Okay, what have we got? I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump a little bit on the Respawn bandwagon. And it looks like Bruno, he has quite a lot of viewers, but Respawn seems to be the thing these days. People have been enjoying it. So I think we're going to head on over there and see how his day has been going. Because... Oh, no, actually, pardon me. I do apologize. I'm going to backtrack, wind that back. And we're going to visit one of our fun, mostly family-friendly viewers. Every once in a while he slips a little bit language-wise, but we're going to head on over to say hello to Scotch Tape 72. Now, Scotch Tape 72 says he's messing around in a create world on an odd day off. So he's got a day off from work and he's messing around in a world with the mod Create, which is kind of neat because he's been playing Create Optimized. That is sort of like Vault Hunters without having to do all the vaults to unlock things. And it's got some really neat generation, and I believe he was doing some end busting. So we're going to head on over to Scotch Tape, give him all our best, and I for sure will be back tomorrow doing some sort of Lego build. We're going to start ourselves on the Hogwarts Courtyard Sirius Rescue at about noon Eastern and just go till it's done. So if I get on a real roll, it might be a short stream. If it doesn't go as fast as I expect, then it'll be a longer one. But yeah, that's what's on tap. Let's start that raid. Find the right button. This one. Nice. I'm learning about things I didn't know that existed. So you can see the raid calls there. If you guys want to use those, that's up to you. Thank you very much to our wonderful moderators, Fantastic Shock Fox and Olivia Benson. Always appreciated. Thank you very much to Bobreen, Tis for Truth, and Swanky Potato and Yellow for dropping by as well. I do appreciate every single one of you, and if anybody has been lurking and not actively a part of the stream, I appreciate you as well, and you're always welcome to drop by. So thank you to everybody. Hope you have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will see you over in Scotch Tape stream momentarily. Have yourself a great day again. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.